All right, everyone, welcome back to Believe in Vikings for today, Tuesday, August 5th. And I'm your host, Mike Wobschall, joined by my partner and my co-host, Bryant McKinney. BMac is back. A couple of weeks off for yours truly and for BMac, but we're excited to be back talking training camp and Minnesota Vikings with you. And this is the first time BMac and I have been together since FanDuel took over as the presenting sponsor of Believe in Vikings. So exciting times for the show and exciting times for us because football season is back. What up, BMac? How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited as FanDuel is now our sponsor and looking forward to just giving some great content.
Yeah, man, they will. We'll talk about regular football X's and O's, BMAX experiences like we always do. We'll incorporate some FanDuel betting from time to time as well. Lots to get to today, BMAC. First preseason game coming up on Saturday for the Vikings. Joint practices with the Patriots next week. JJ McCarthy set to play in the preseason game. Justin Jefferson will not, and we'll talk about more as well. Today's episode of Believe in Vikings is sponsored by Nutrition Elements, a Minnesota-based company with premium brain cubes, sleep cubes, lion's mane, and more. Nutrition Elements meticulously crafts every formula, blending cutting-edge research with nature's finest ingredients. Pure, potent, and designed for a wholesome approach to wellness. Free shipping on orders of $150 or more now. Plus, use the promo code WOBBY and get 15% off your order. NutritionElements.com. Fuel your mind, elevate your wellness. The Vikings host the Houston Texans on Saturday, BMac. The game is at 3 p.m. at US Bank Stadium. The game will be on NFL Network. Vikings at FanDuel are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 37.5. Before we talk about what we think will happen in the game, I want to get your take, BMac, on JJ McCarthy. The Vikings have basically said he's going to play in the preseason game. Probably not a surprise, right? It's his first year as a starter, got to get his feet wet. But he got hurt in the preseason last year. So I'm kind of curious what you expect from JJ McCarthy in terms of how much he'll play and what you would like to see from him. If you were his teammate, if you were his coach, if you're a big Vikings fan, what are you trying to see from McCarthy in this first preseason game?
Just to see him being able to make the proper reads, just getting out there and getting some good timing with the players and, being able to recognize just different defenses. I don't expect him to play too much. I mean, because he's the starter, but I do feel like they just want to put him in the line of fire, just see how he does a little bit for like a quarter maybe. And see how the offense gets, moving, because sometimes it takes a while for the offense to get going in preseason.
Yeah.
So see how the offense gets rolling too in that quarter or so, and just gives them like a little foundation, like a little ground to start working with. So when they go into practice that following week, they'll know what things like really like tackle with him.
Yeah. So when you played BMac, there were 4 preseason games, and there was kind of a formula that most teams followed. You play a little bit in that first game, a little more in the second, a whole half in the third, maybe into the third quarter of series, nothing in the fourth. Now there's only 3 preseason games. And so it's kind of caused like a recalibration for teams and on what to do. And some teams do it differently than others. But if you're going to play McCarthy, I mean, you got to play the other starters too, don't you? To protect him, to put him in the best position.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would for sure have the starters in there while he's in there. Just to make sure that we're not, setting him up to get any type of injuries or anything like that. So for sure. And then those are the guys who's going to be playing with. So you want him to get the timing with, all the key guys. So definitely have the starters in with him.
Yeah. So for you, a veteran, a high tier caliber left tackle, the team is like, we know what BMac is. He's a sure thing out at left tackle. Like, I don't want to get him hurt in a dumb preseason game. So this has got to be something that they wrestle with on some of the veterans, like Brian O'Neill, veteran right tackle, Will Fries, veteran right guard, where it's like, yeah, we want to protect the quarterback here, but like, we got to get to the starting line with everyone healthy too. So it's got to be a balance.
It is. And that's why I feel like they'll play him. I'm saying maybe a quarter. I feel like they should be able to get through a quarter and not get like too many injuries or too many people banged up. But also that's just a risk that you're going to take anyway in football, and he's given snap. And sometimes it can be like a fluke injury where you're not even having contact and get injured. So That's just a risk
Yeah.
you have to take anyway.
Were there things that you guys would do, like with like the way you played? Was there a mutual understanding with your opponent? Did you call certain plays or not call certain plays to reduce the chance of injury in the preseason?
To be honest, no. I didn't like
Yeah.
preseason. I didn't really think about. Okay, I remember one year a preseason game where like I was going against the Colts and it was Freeney, and it was like he was like, all right, chill, it's preseason, like you know what I mean. So I do
Yeah.
remember that, but it's like okay, me and him had an understanding during that preseason, like let's work, but like we ain't got to go like super hard. But other than that, that's probably like the only time that may have happened. Other than that, I don't know these people like that, so.
Yeah.
I'm not playing those games with anybody because I feel like you could try to lull me to sleep and say that and then make a big play. Like, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
didn't really play like that with people. I just went out there and I'm only out there for a half or I'm out there for a quarter. It's like, I'm gonna just give you that and we'll watch film. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't care about, that was my time of getting my rhythm down and firing off the ball. And so I took it as that.
Yeah. There might be like you said, a mutual understanding with Dwight where it's like,
And we were the
whatever.
same
And then it's
year.
like,
We were veterans at the time, and it was just like, all right. I said, well, listen, I'm just making sure,
yeah.
but I still was on my guard because I didn't want him to like set me up.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? This is also because he
Yeah.
also was my rival from college too. So I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm still like on guard. Like, yeah, like
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
still wasn't comfortable
And
doing
it could be one
it.
of those things too, where it's like you come up to the line for a play and it's like, all right, Dwight, it's third down here. Or Dwight would say it to you probably, where it's like, hey, third down here, let's go, man. Let's get this one. And now for this rep, it's on, because it's a third down on a pass rush. What do you remember about Brett Favre's first preseason game with us in 2009? Because there's one particular moment I remember, but I'm wondering if you have any specific memories. Did you play in the game he played in? I'm pretty sure it was against the Chiefs.
I don't even remember.
So I think
I
we
don't
played
remember
in
preseason like that.
Indianapolis. Yeah, we played in Indianapolis and didn't go great. And then we signed Brett, and the next preseason game
When we
was
played
against
in
the
that's
Chiefs.
probably the game I'm talking about with Dwight Freeney. If there was preseason in Indianapolis,
Probably was, yeah.
it's probably that same game I was talking about. Where,
Yeah.
So I probably didn't look bad on that game because he was kind of like,
Yeah. I just remember that first preseason game with Brett. Favre took one big hit, and I was like, and then he got up and he was fine. I mean, he's the Iron Man, but that was it. You guys kept him pretty clean in that game. But, I just remember in the preseason games being like, all right, no overtimes, no injuries. Let's get out of here. Let's get our business done and let's get out of here.
Yeah. The preseason, I mean, I look at the preseason as like a time, especially for the guys who are on the bubble, is to put your best foot forward and give yourself a resume. You know what I mean? Whether you want to make this team or you'll make somebody else's team. So like you have to really get out here and put your best foot forward so somebody can at least see it.
Yeah. Well, listening to you talk about it, BMac, I kind of was like, so the over-under in the Vikings first preseason game with Houston is 37.5 points. And I'm like, that's a pretty low score, especially if McCarthy is going to play and the first team offense is going to be out there. Because I kind of feel like the Vikings offense is going to want to look good. Like they want to be like, okay, first year starter, like let's get out there and score some points. We're at home. So I kind of was feeling like they'll get over that number. But then, listening to you talk, like maybe they only play one quarter. I mean, that can only be 2 possessions. And I know Justin Jefferson won't play because he's got his hamstring. He's dealing with that, like a little minor tweak of his hammy. So I'm a little less confident on it, but I'd still probably go over 37.5. Seems like, first preseason game, offenses want to get out there and look good, like I feel like there could be some points scored in this one, but we'll see what happens.
It just, I don't know, offense is just sometimes it just how is the momentum and the chemistry and everything for the first game. Sometimes they can come out and be firing on all cylinders, and sometimes it could be like a little slow, like you know what I mean. Then the second week it may build up to be better. So it just really depends.
Yeah,
depends on how training camp has been going too for them as an offense too.
I've from what I understand, defense is looking a little better early in camp. take that for what it's worth, right? It's just reporters and fans, and they're commenting. Their opinion is valid, but they're not, they don't know the practice script. They don't know how plays are, like, coaches design practice in specific ways for their reasons, So I don't know, but defense being ahead of the offense early in camp, that's pretty standard, don't you think?
I feel like it's pretty normal. Defense, you have nothing to do but cover a man, shoot a gap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Move when the ball is snapped. Like, you don't have all these different things that you have to look and make adjustments in the middle of a cadence to. So yeah, it's a little easier to me to be on defense and just go forward.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh man, I hope some of your buddies and old teammates are hearing that. They're like, BMac, I'm gonna come get that guy.
I mean, I feel like it's less thinking. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially for like the defensive lines, like, you just have to make sure you stay in this gap and you just go up the field. Like, you know what I mean? You have to run the pass. It's not.
I know.
It's not that
no,
hard.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I know. You're right. All these preseason games, I think what's going to be more beneficial is next week when the Vikings have the Patriots in town and they do joint practices. I mean, you probably get more out of a couple of joint practices than you do out of one.
And it's actually more fun because I know at this point they're probably tired of practicing against each other. Like, we've been winning against each other so much now for about a week and a half now. You're ready for like a new challenge, a new look. You know what I mean? And so I know this game is pretty exciting too, to be able to take all that practice you did against your teammate and go out here and like kind of unleash it on someone else. And then now to be able to practice next week, now you feel like a team. Because it's like an inter squad scrimmage, so it's like, we're separated, but now we're all one once we're practicing against a whole nother team. And you're, cheering on your guys who you've been through the trenches with, like, for camp so far. Like, you're cheering on them now when you get to watch them go against, another team and things like that. So yeah, you get excited to get like new blood out there.
For sure. And the other thing too is if the starters can get some, get good work in those two joint practices, the preseason game against the Patriots, you can kind of devote that to some of the backups and the third string guys and give them more time in the game. So I think it's important to get a lot done in those joint practices, and I think that's what will happen for the Vikings and the Patriots. I know people who go to that preseason game, BMac, they'll be excited to see Diggs. Stephon Diggs is with the Patriots now. I don't know if they'll see him. If you want to see Diggs go against the Vikings, I think you probably got to go out to training camp and watch a joint practice. By the way, are you going to any Viking stuff preseason or training camp? Are you coming to Minnesota?
I don't know. I have to check when I get back home. I'm gonna check my calendar just to see what's available. I was about to say, shout out to Diggs. He had a great offseason hanging out with Cardi B.
Oh yeah, he got busy. He got busy in the offseason now. I know you saw that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you guys. He probably ran into some people who you already.
I think we would have been friends if we were in the same era. We would have probably been friends.
Probably. I know. You know what? Honestly, I was with both of you. You would be. You definitely would be.
Because I hung with a lot of the skill guys too,
that.
And he was one of the guys I feel like we would have probably hung out together.
Definitely, yes. You guys would have been a good pair. I mean, you got along with almost anybody, and Diggs is friendly, and I loved him. He was great. He didn't get along with everybody, but you did, and you guys have the same. He's got a big interest in music and fashion, and I think you guys would really jive in that way. Right. So if you can get out there next week, you should definitely do that. I mean, maybe you can connect with them. And even if you don't connect with them next week, at some point down the road, you and Diggs definitely you guys would jive well together. So that's a good point, man. Yeah. All right. Well, to me, the number one goal at this time of year is, get ready for the season and stay healthy. You know what I mean? There are two key players for the Vikings who are dealing with an injury right now. One is left tackle Christian Darrisaw, who's coming back from that severe knee injury. We've talked about that a few times, so we don't need to touch on it. One thing I did want to ask you, did you ever deal with a hamstring? Because that's what Justin Jefferson is dealing with right now. It's just a little tweak to his hammy. What's that like?
One off-season racing an artist named Pleasure P. And I won, by the way, but I pulled my hamstring at the end. And it was like a little bit before training camp, and I had to go in and like go in early so they could start treating it. It can just be nagging just because it's a pull feeling like when you try to run. So you have to take your time because you can re-injure it. And then when you feel like you're running, you don't feel that pulling sensation anymore. Then it's like, oh, okay, it's healed. But it's just a nagging injury. It's not. I don't feel like it's like too bad, but you just have to let it heal. Because you can re-injure it again if you get out there too
Yeah.
fast.
Yep. And I think that's what the Vikings are doing with Jefferson. And I think they're gonna hold him out of all the camp and all the preseason, and he'll be ready to go for week 1. And he did have a
Mhm.
severe hamstring injury a couple of years ago, so they're definitely being careful about that, and they're smart to
Okay.
be doing so. Yeah. So I don't think we'll see Jefferson this preseason, but we'll see the rest of the Vikings starters, I would imagine. And then they'll get Darisaw back early in the season. Jefferson will be ready for the start, and that offense should be humming. It'll be a lot of fun to watch. I think the table's set for McCarthy. I mean, don't you look at this offense and you're just like, go
And
get it, young man.
I think he's probably pretty hungry too to be able to sit out the whole season
Yep.
last season and kind of just watch
Yep.
from the sideline. So it's like, okay, I'm back, I'm healthy, I have something to prove. I missed the whole season, so I think he'll come out here. He has a year to learn the system, so he has a lot of things in his favor as well.